Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Today I will discuss the proactive and retroactive measures that some of our citizens are making in the aftermath of the assassination of Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And I will look at the mentality and consequences of that mentality. So I will have this article read and we're going to talk about the conclusions and actions. This article comes from Quartz from yesterday, July 8, 2022, and this is the title. Shares of Chinese bulletproof vest makers surged after Shinzo Abe's shooting. So shares of major Chinese bulletproof vest makers spiked after the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot and killed during a speech in the city of Nara, old Nara, ancient Nara, early on Friday. I think it was the capital of Japan, right? Nara, in the shogunate time at one point, right? Abe, 67, was shot twice, with a second shot hitting his back, leading him to collapse. He went into a state of cardiopulmonary arrest, indicating a sudden loss of heart function and breathing, according to an official. Subsequently, he was declared dead. A male suspect has been arrested and charged with attempted murder, according to local media. Shortly after the news made global headlines, Chinese companies such as Jihua Group and Anhui Wanwei Group and Yantai Taiho saw their shares surge between 2% and 6%. Jihua is the largest light military products suppliers in China, while the other two firmly mainly produce advanced and new materials like high-performance fiber. The three are among the major listed bulletproof vest makers in China. So let's see the active and retroactive or reactive measures people take. So now we have crazies, right, having guns. All right, or people not crazy, but people who have crazy ideas, correct? And we might all have at one time, ideas that are not acceptable. Like, for instance, you fantasize about, I don't know, a new world, or you fantasize about something else. And I'm not talking about something violent necessarily. I'm talking about, you see a woman and you say, hey, that's a good-looking woman. And you sometimes, your brain goes in certain directions, how that would be if you, would be friends with that woman and so on. So you can't, and you act upon maybe those urges. And nevertheless, now we have criminal minds and they go to different extent with their imagination, and they will act. Some of them will act. We can't say that we never had an how should I say evil ideas in our brains ever. Imagine when you're in a traffic driving, and you have an asshole cutting you off or other things. I think sometimes we have really bad thoughts. The thing that we can control our thoughts, separate us from those guys who have thoughts and they act upon those thoughts, like this guy who premeditated this killing. Now, with that being said, what are we to do? So basically, weapons will be there, legal or illegal. Now, what do? We're going to put vest on us. Okay, well, that means it's retroactive, right? Because I'm waiting. That's, someone hits me. In case he hits me, that will help. So retroactive after he does that. Why don't I just go and buy blood for a transfusion, right? But if I don't get first aid kits in case I get shot already. So all these are retroactive actions. Why don't you talk about proactive? How could be proactive actions implemented without infringing people's rights or limiting people's freedoms? You know what I mean, right? by infringing what kind of rights. It should be a deterrent. That would be a proactive move. Now, deterrent could be through certain means, and it could be tyrannical. Deterrent could be different kind of tyrant, a different kind of deterrent. The one thing is, okay, how can you prevent crazies from acting? Not without being tyrannical. I'm talking about. I mean, I'm saying tyrannical will be this. Let's disarm everybody, and you say, "Oh, Amy got it. That was your point." No, not really. I'm obviously against disarming a law-abiding population who did not act. You can't just assume that in the future someone might do something because said something. If you make that conclusion, then you get to a tyrannical idea, because we all say things at one point, and some could interpret it as certain, and then what? They take your weapons away to defend yourself. Then it's like saying, sometimes let's say you have a car, and sometimes you say something that would, I don't know, fuck all the people, or fuck this or that or that. People say, oh my God, he doesn't like people. What if he gets his car and does something bad with the cars? He should not drive. And that's an example with weapons as well. And then, oh my God, he's got knives in the home, and he doesn't like people. They say, oh man, I don't like people. My God, he doesn't like people. Oh my God, that means he would rather live without people. That gets the next step would be, right? So get his everything, and then if you go and infringe this person's freedom, okay, you take his guns, take his car, take his knives, take his baseball bat. What next? You put him in a camp where you're going to control him 100% and surveil him 100%. You're under surveillance. That's how, I mean, you're just looking, I mean, you're too exaggerated. Well, it's the principle, and you exaggerate little by little, and you can, conflate it to this. So regarding that, I'm saying, okay, these guys, how can you stop them? Mentally ill? It's not necessarily that people are mentally ill that are doing crazy stuff. I would assume a better, not assume, this I think would be the one of the proactive steps. The population's level, the social level, the morality level, the education, entertainment industry, the school, obviously, the politicians, the society's level has to be elevated. Why do we have now more shootings, for instance, than we had before? I'm talking mass shooting, 4 in school shootings. In the 50s, were there shootings like that? Just read, just to try to find statistics, evidence, and you don't find you say, well, it's because of distribution of guns. Could be, maybe the guns ended up in the hands of people that should not have them. Okay, who's a person who should not have it? A person who have a crime, a felon, for instance. Well, he has it illegally. So what are you going to do about it? You see, it has to be people who commit this kind of mass murders, mass murder, killing 5, 6, 7, 20 people. We can call it mass murder, okay? Those people, some of them are not mentally ill. They just emulate certain ideals, certain individuals that are promoted in society. They are promoted. Look at they talk about violence and gun violence and so on. Watch the Hollywood movies. If you look at them, in every little one is a bang bang shooting and so on. Well, should not be like that. Well, I'm for the free speech and free expression, obviously, but I think it's a certain kind of education. The sooner the better. That would make us, even I don't want to say become better, but it used to be that in certain towns you didn't lock your doors. It used to be in certain areas that people would say hello when they would meet on the street and so on. Obviously you can go to New York City and say hello, hello, hello to everybody, but it used to be a little bit of a more respectful society, I guess, and that came from a certain education. That could be a proactive move. And the other one is another one. If a thief or someone knows that the guy has over there guns in his house, or if I go to a store, someone goes to a store and wants to, I don't know, rob an armed robbery, or, you know, he could expect, for example, in Michigan, out of 100 people, 50 to have guns in that. So he's going to be all, you know, not vest. Oh my God, yeah, take my life, don't shoot me. No, you know, it's not, I was about to do something, you know what, right? Uh, it's just that he's going to think a little bit ahead of doing that. It's going to be a deterrent, knowing that the population has the capability to take him out. So that's another one. I think education, and I'm not saying, oh my God, give cannons to the population, but it's allow them to have the right for self-defense. I will always be for that. Your right to self-defense. And imagine a woman and a big guy. And you say, okay, what's going to happen? There's going to be a big rape coming from the guy, one-on-one. But if she has something, there's not going to be a rape. There's going to be a self-defense, and it's going to be a deterrent because she doesn't have to use it. If she has it and he doesn't, I don't think he's going to move forward, because if he moves forward, that means bad decision, correct? But she needs that deterrent. Not me, I don't care. I mean, if one-on-one, but you know what I mean? You get older and you get not always one-on-one, and why should you expose yourself to really physical harm? It's not like you're going to knock someone out without being hit or something. Or it's not necessary that you will knock that person out. Maybe you get knocked out, and even worse. But that could at least equalize the level the situation or get you the upper hand. Now you say, okay, how could that be prevented? The Shinzo Abe. I think the security was loose as that's how it was. It was loose as those guys are guilty, and the criminal as well. Those guys were. And then what they're gonna do? Look at the politicians. They took some, most the liberals. Oh, you should not have guns. For your own protection. No, 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 no. But they're gonna beef up their protection with what? With people with really, really big guns. What does that tell you? And those are our elected officials? No, who are those? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.